You're not relaxing, you're escaping. And it's killing your potential. It's killing what you could be as a man. It's killing your greatness. Most men waste years numbing themselves with cheap pleasure and wonder why they're stuck. I'm going to go over some effective ways and why, as a man, you need to stop escaping with porn, weed, and video games. Reason number one, let's talk about why you were actually addicted. You're not addicted to the activity itself, the weed, the porn, the video games. You're trying to avoid something. You're trying to substitute your real life problems and your real life issues with gratification and satisfaction from a digital world, from a virtual world. And that's not okay. You're avoiding stress, you're avoiding boredom, you're avoiding insecurity, and you're avoiding pain. All these things which we naturally have to deal with as men, as humans. These are natural things that are normal. But for some reason, we live in society where we want to suppress all these negative feelings, all these emotions, all the stress, instead of taking them head on and dealing with them. And you have to change that. If you want to be great, if you want to excel, you have to change that. Every time you do any of these activities, you're avoiding responsibility and emotional discomfort. You're avoiding everything that's going on in your real life, in the real world, and that's not okay. You can't be strong that way. It's not possible. The next reason, you might be listening to me and you might be rolling your eyes and you might be thinking, man, it's harmless. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to smoke. It's not a big deal to play the game. It's not a big deal to watch women on the internet in a fashion that you shouldn't be watching it. You might just think that it's simple. It's no big deal. You're having fun. But you're preventing yourself from being ambitious. You're numbing your ambition. You're not allowing yourself to be great. Everything that you really should be working on, that you really should be trying to use to grow as a man and grow as a person, your drive, your discipline, your self-respect, you let all these things just go away because that's what happens when you're not working on them. When you come home every day and you partake in these activities and you're not doing anything to build this, to build your discipline, to build your drive, to build your ambition, how do you expect to achieve anything? How do you expect to be great? How do you expect to make as much money as you possibly want to make and take care of your family? These habits, every time you partake in them, the hours and hours and hours on, they just slowly turn you into a person that is a shell of who you should be and who you want to be. The next reason is it kills your masculine edge. When you watch people engaging in those activities online, the sexual activities, that destroys your confidence. You're looking at virtual women when you really should be talking to them in real life. It makes you more anxious with women. It makes you view them as objects instead of viewing them as a person. And it makes you only think about sexual things, sexual activities, instead of wanting to communicate with them on a intellectual level and just as a human being. What does weed do? Most people, think weed is harmless. It doesn't kill you. It's natural. Well, weed messes with your clarity. It messes with your motivation, and it messes with your emotional control. All these things which are important for you to thrive and be great as a man. Every time you alter your mind, every time you tell yourself, oh, I have to smoke weed to feel good. I have to smoke weed to deal with this situation. I have to smoke weed to eat. I have to smoke weed to deal with this stress. You are finding an easy escape and avoiding the pain and the struggle that God has meant for you to deal with, has put there for you to deal with. You don't need an easy escape. You need to buckle down and deal with these things. Video games. Now, this is a big one. I love video games, but even me, I have to damper down on playing them because it's not worth it. It creates a false sense of achievement. It creates a false sense of reality. When you play video games, you get to make whoever you want to make. You get to achieve whatever you want to achieve, all virtually. Activating this dopamine, making it feel like you really did something. You're putting hours and hours and hours into virtual reality to say, I'm the best at this, or I achieved this, or I beat this level, or I beat this game. And then when you fast forward 20, 40, 60, how many hours it took you to achieve whatever you were looking to achieve in that game, and you disconnect from that virtual world and you look at your real life, the reality is you spent all that time progressing virtually and your real life has just stayed the same. No improvement, no growth. And that's what we don't want if we want to be successful and build successful habits and have successful growth. The next reason, what does doing these things cost you in life? I mean, I can speak from personal experience. I always say I wish I can take a time machine back 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, even 10 years ago, because so much of my potential and your potential has been wasted and is going to continue being wasted if you continuously every day just keep switching games, smoking weed, looking at these sexual activities, and not doing anything to build your life. You're just wasting potential. Wasting potential. You're not improving on anything in life. And then you sit here and you complain about how life sucks or life is difficult or about how you can't get a job or you should be making more money. But what do you do to improve your situation? Besides going home, playing the game, smoking weed, sexual activities, and complaining. Destroys your focus. When you always have these things on your mind, how can you focus on creating? How can you focus on learning? How can you focus on reading? Every time you want to do anything positive or build anything long term, your mind and your body reverts back to the unhealthy habits because you're not building healthy habits and you're not taking these things away to build what you want. You lose your purpose. You took away purpose and you replaced it with comfort because you don't like the trajectory your life is going. You don't like the trajectory your relationships are at, your family relationships, your social relationships. You don't like how you are as a parent. But instead of buckling down and saying, what can I do to be better and fix it? You just say, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to indulge in these things that make me feel good so I can just put it at the back of my head and not think about it for hours and hours every single day because I'm too afraid to actually face it head on. Next thing is we need to break the cycle. If you don't feel like this is important to you and you can't convince yourself to do this, think about your kids, think about your brothers, your sisters, your nephews, your nieces, people that look up to you. You may not want to do it for yourself, but do it for the younger people who still have a chance and are influenced by you. Start with a dopamine detox. Take a week to 2 weeks and stop smoking. Stop playing the game. Stop engaging in sexual activities online, looking at pictures, looking at videos. Do that for 7 to 14 days and focus on replacing those habits with more productive, long-term gratification habits. Working out. When you work out, you're not going to see it instantly. It's a buildup. Reading, learning a new skill, eating healthy, building something, creating something. Focus on replacing those habits with productivity, and I guarantee you will see a shift in your mind and a shift in your body and your goals and everything in the above. Write in the journal. Write how you feel. Write what you're looking for. Writing in a journal helps so much. We should do it more often. It releases something in our brain that makes us feel better. Gives us more clarity. It helps us deal with that emotion, that anxiety that we might be going through, that distress that we might be going through. Last but not least, don't forget discomfort is what we want. If you sit here and you're comfortable, you're never going to grow. But put yourself in uncomfortable situations and you will grow. That's where the growing starts, and that's where you can become the diamond. That's when you can excel and become the man that you hope to be. The man that I know you can be. The man that I know that we all hope that we can be. The more you avoid your pain, the more you avoid the problems, the more powerless you become. The more into that cycle you become. The more of a consumer you become instead of becoming that producer that we talked about in my previous videos. The men who grow are the ones who deal with their issues, the one who deal with their pain, figure out how to deal with that trauma and use that pain and that trauma for to drive and strengthen their motivation to hit their goals and their ambitions. They don't run from it. Remember, you never have to be perfect. No one is perfect, but you have to start building habits, which means stop numbing yourself. You have to stop numbing yourself just long enough so you can wake up and you can get out of that cycle and you can start building, you can start creating, you can start achieving and becoming that man that you want to be. You were meant for way more than what you're doing right now. Way more. Don't let the cheap pleasure, the quick dopamine hits, the video games, the sexual activities online, the drugs take you away from what you could have. It's your boy J3, and I'm out.